That's Jupiter. I wish we had a zoom on this thing right now. But this is actually, you can see it's 4 moons. I got shots of it the last couple of nights. But this is actually what it looks like. But on my photos, yeah, you probably can see it in the background. But I'll put it down in the description below when I got the other camera the other night on Shutterstock. And I'll show you on my 300mm lens. It's like blue, but this kind of lens is a little bit better. You can see orange inside of this thing. And that's what I'm saying. But there's like 79 moons on Jupiter. We're facing toward the south, toward that direction, toward California and Nevada. So that's where we're facing, that direction. If you guys want to look at the stellar star charts, you can actually look around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And we're actually looking at Jupiter right now. I know we're doing this on YouTube right now, so this is amazing. We can talk about this. And I've seen Jupiter before on the telescope many years ago on a Meade LX, I think 30 or 56 many years ago, back in 23. My dad used to have it. And you can actually see this kind of thing. I used to have class 3 skies where I used to live in North Florida. Here in Utah, we have at least class 4 conditions right now. This is about class 4 conditions we're looking at right now on higher ISO, 6400 right now. But DSLR cameras can actually see it good. But I used to live in class 3 and class 4 conditions. So nothing's going to hit me with water. I'm up here where I'm at. This is Jupiter. You might be able to see its moons in the background. For the last few nights I've been watching on the scope, I've been seeing these 4 to 5 moons on the side of Jupiter. Sometimes they usually come out 3 moons, sometimes they come out 4, but there's 79 of them, but you can actually see the basic ones like they talk about. And they switch axles every couple hours. Like every 3 days the moons be on the other side of Jupiter and all that. But this is the one that has the red spot. I actually seen the red spot many years ago on a larger lens. But it's not bad on a DSLR lens. But if anyone wanted to tell me, help me out with some modifications, how we can get good Jupiter shots and video shots, let me know. I'm on a Canon Rebel T3. And yeah, you can see a little moon in the background. I'm going to see you guys can get to see Saturn, but I've seen Saturn really large with big rings on it many years ago on telescope. But this is kind of different with a mirror's lens, because I thought it was more than a telescope. At least we got to saw some good shots of the moon, and it's not bad. Even I got those shots of the comet was on a 300mm lens. It's the same brand name as this one, but this lens is actually from 1984. Even the Toklin lens probably is from the early 2000s or late 80s or 90s, who knows. And it has a Canon mount that goes on it with the chip. This one has no chip in it. And I'm using a clicker on this too also. And I'm on one of these tripods from the late 80s, from the early 80s, but it's a pretty good one. And this is a Nemo type ball mount. That's why I was moving around with it. So we can actually see what's going on here. We'll move it back. There we go. Yeah, we're right above Jupiter right now. So that's Jupiter, you can actually see. So let's try to switch over to Saturn in a second. See if we can get it. Let me do that right now. It's going to pop off a little bit. Yep. We're on Jupiter right now. I'm going to find Saturn in this direction. There we go. We got Saturn. This is good on video. They're always next to each other, Jupiter and Saturn. It's going to fly above me. So what do you expect? It's only a 500mm lens and I'm doing it with all stock stuff. There's no filters in this lens. It's Canon Rebel T3 over 10-year-old camera, but it's pretty good. And as long as I leave it on the Xfinity mode, it's good. But this is Saturn, but I know it doesn't look very much. What do you expect? If you're in the class 4 condition skies, it's pretty good. On the suburbs where I live, it's not bad. Because I'm way on the outskirts of where I'm at in Ogden, Utah. But yes, but I believe in possible anybody who has a DSLR camera, I think everybody can get the whole planets much larger. But you have to time it at really late at night I recommend do it around 2 o'clock in the morning, or somewhere around between 9, 11, 9, between 10, when the, between like 9:30 in the summertime, but even around 10 o'clock at night. But if you get clear skies at night when it's cold fronts, you can do it when the cold fronts come by, when it's not cloudy. So far there's not very much clouds tonight, and this is pretty good. But when I started my first shots with the astrophotography shot with Orion the Hunter, then I went and worked on that a little bit, and when I had my 300mm lens was going quite good. I was actually quite good on that. I got shots of Mars at 300mm lens on the same thing I had with my scope. But I'll show you some pictures on my site either way when I have some time. But what do you expect? We're actually watching Saturn on the live scope. But those guys who have those Nikon cameras, they probably have at least 1200mm lens. This is a 500mm lens on a mirrorless lens. It's not bad. If anyone know how to do a mirrorless lens for the model I have, maybe you guys can learn some modifications how we can work with this. And also I need to know what kind of adapter it will take for a Canon Rebel T3 for a Tonka 500mm with a CD/FD mount. Because I actually got a CD/FD mount on this right now with some duct tape on it, with one with a little glass inside of it, which I paid at least $14 for it. I think around 18 bucks for this modification, which I can show you where I bought it off eBay. If anyone that wants to help me out there on YouTube, let me know what kind of, I want a glass mount adapter that goes inside this kind of lens. But I'll show you what I got, and I'll show you the script down below on eBay a little bit later. I'm trying to get a teleconverter lens. I'm trying to buy one because I'm looking to try to get a 2x converter. Probably that would be my best choice, and it might be able to get these shots a little better. But this is actually a live video of Saturn with its rings that I've seen much bigger, but it's pretty good. And the skies are clear at this night, and I'm at 6400 ISO, and my histogram, I think it's between 3.2 or around 3.2 or somewhere around 2 point something around that area. So I got that set on the little bar section. And I think I'm on Xfinity mode right now. When I'm doing. It's actually sinking down a little bit. Sorry off the screen. But maybe sink it down a little bit would get some. We got a little finally. But the only thing you have to do with these snapshots, make sure you have a clicker, because your camera will bounce when you press it, or you just press it on the camera if you don't have one. I've got Saturn back on position. It's going down a little bit, that's what it's doing. See, it's floating up, it's flowing down. Get a focus on that. It's looking really quite good. That little orange planet there, it's actually got rings, and I'm telling you, we're looking at light at least 16 hours old. Now, sunlight is actually traveling 16 hours away, and it's got at least 17 moons. And I've seen 17 moons along across the line of Saturn on a telescope many years ago, back in 2003, which you can see it at a horizontal type rate, like an X shape. And you can actually see it's 17 moons, like little dot stars. The farthest planet I've seen was Neptune back in 2003 when my dad had this telescope, an LD, it was a knee telescope, an LX model. And I got to saw that like a dotted star, just like that. And we got to see that good conditions, very quite good. Just wanted to do all you guys out there. I know guys are going through the COVID-19 virus right now for the last couple months. In Utah, we've been under like around 300 deaths almost, and we've been quite under that for a while. I think we're going to be under lockdown for a long time. I think this virus is not going to end for the next 3 to 5, I say 5 to 10 years, or a little bit somewhere around that timeline. We don't know. So if anyone's out there wants to share the astrophotography videos, let me know. If you guys want to help me out on somehow we can get a mirror lens, how we get better scope on planets and galaxies and nebula and all that, let me know about the mounts and all that stuff. I got a cheap mount with a Nemo type with a ball mount, and that's how I made it move. And it's very quite good. So everything's good. Make sure I just tighten this up. There we go. And I see how smooth that is. Better than holding a tripod, but I got an old tripod on here. It's actually called Silt. S-T-I-T. I think Z Video CD220. It's actually what I'm using this tripod. It is a heavy duty mounted tripod, and it can go pretty tall, almost about 6 to 7 foot tall, but it's not a cheap made one. The ones that were built in the 80s were much better. If you guys get something like a 1980s tripod that can mount a camera on it, it'll do good, because they used to run VHS tapes. I'm going to shout out to all my special friends, to everybody out there, Danielle, Liz, and my cousin Janelle, and my other subscribers out there on the YouTube channel land. I just wanted to show you when I'm doing some amazing stuff with my Canon Rebel. This thing I only paid like $100 off of eBay back a few months ago, back in February, and I took some snapshots on that. If you guys want to be interested to look at some of the snapshots, let me know, and I'll send that out there on with a link you guys can see. But I want to keep my location pretty quite good and simple. But this is quite good when you're watching Saturn on the video, and this is amazing. And we're talking at the same time. I never expected did that back 15 years ago, or 16 years ago, back in 2003. We never got a chance to have the equipment. The equipment back then, on this new telescope, you had to line up with laser, the Polaris, and automatic does everything. A lot of people said if I had a star tracker, that would be quite good. But also I do foam farming on YouTube and other stuff out there. And this is quite good. But I'm trying out some astrophotography shots, so let's hope everything goes good. But if anyone wants to know about the mirror lens, about this kind I got, let me know your modifications, let me know anything you can improve it. And I want to do it the cheapest way, how we get everything going. So this is Foxman 362. I'm waving the hands out there tonight, this morning. Have a good morning out there. Hope you guys enjoyed the day watching this. And we're just watching Saturn. We're cruising along tonight and this morning. But the conditions out here is pretty quite good at class 4 conditions. That's what they're talking about. That darker sky you get, you don't know when you get the picture behind it, you get more stars behind it if people do it that way. But I believe in the areas of Ogden and some of those areas can get good conditions in the city if you're on the outskirts of those areas where you have to look. And there's actually a chart map you can look at, light pollution maps, and some of those things are not, they're pretty accurate on some things, but I believe we got class 3 or class 4 in this area probably. But it just depends on the sky condition. But class 4 is pretty good. The lower the class, the better it goes. So we're on the class 4 condition skies, and I believe someone in this area can do good astronomy type astrophotography and video thing. If they do the right thing to it and modify it right, I think anyone in the areas of suburbia in Utah and stuff like that can probably do it, or out in the middle of nowhere. But if you guys can pull it off in a suburban area, I think it can happen. I think it's possible people can get astrophotography, but you're not hard trying to. But when I first saw Jupiter the first time back in 1995 when I was 15 years old, when I had my first telescope, was like a big telestar. I couldn't hardly see Jupiter, only see it was all gray, but I could see the dark spot on it. But I never got to saw the moons on it. So that's what I'm telling you. But this is actually better than a telescope. It's almost somewhere quite good as a good telescope, but it's almost near quite good. But a telescope's much better, but this is okay. So I'm going to let you go. We had to enjoy yourself Saturn and let it disappear off the screen. And have a good evening good morning out there. This is Foxman 362. Make sure you check out more videos when you get sometime soon. Just want to show you some videos up here in where I live in Ogden, Utah. Just want to show you guys how we're doing tonight and showing some real live footage of on a Canon DSLR, Canon Rebel T3, and using a toklin type lens of 500mm mirrors lens, which I bought it off of eBay for like $30, and it's not a bad price for the price I paid for. So, have a good morning out there, and we'll bring out some more videos sometime soon on foam farming and other things. Catch you later.